which is a good thing. But as soon as you walked in the door with your mom, this just beaming smile. I mean, he just absolutely I could just see the joy in his face. So I just want to encourage you that when we did some of the marriage counseling together, these two are just absolutely fit for each other. They're just an amazing couple, which you already know that. But I thought we'd kind of begin here with just how did Mike and Jackie get together? How did they meet? How did the story happen? Maybe some of you came from many miles away and you think, how did we get to this day? It's kind of interesting. They actually met on eHarmony. And it's kind of funny because Jackie told me as they were explaining the story, she said, as soon as I saw Mike and saw his profile, I didn't look at anybody else. I just knew this was the guy. So as they kind of talked a little bit and they interacted, they had their very first date at Irvine Spectrum. And it was kind of cool. They went to Dave & Buster's, which is a really fun place. And so Jackie says, hey, why don't we watch football on the big screens? And he's like, first date, the girl wants to watch football? This is amazing. So he was all just so excited. And she said, yeah, and then we can eat after. And it ended up being a really long evening as they just talked and got to know one another. And they just absolutely knew that this was something very, very special. And then as time went on, they fell in love. And so I asked them, I asked Michael first, I said, Mike, what do you just love about Jackie? What is it that her personality, tell me about her. And he went on for about a half hour. And then he said, you can whittle it down to these 4 things. I absolutely love her personality. I love that she's always positive. She's always giving towards others around her. And Mike, you know what? She absolutely brings out the best in me. She makes me the best Mike that I can be. And with all that, I asked the same question of Jackie. I said, what do you love about Mike? And she says, you know what? The very first thing I noticed about him and just fell in love with is the way that he loves his family. The way that he loves his children, his mom. And in fact, he has this amazing sense of humor where it just makes me laugh. And I love that he treats me with honor. And he so much appreciates who I am on the inside. And so it's kind of funny because after they finished both of their lists, they both said the similar thing in just different words, but he brings out the best in me. And I think, that's just when we know God is in the center of all this. He just brings your hearts together. And obviously that's how I believe God brought you here together. And then they started attending Missionville Christian Church. We got to know one another, and that's how we got to this moment. So as they were sharing with me, dating and hanging out and talking on the phone and, Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, which is really fun, when you first meet the person that you feel like God put in your life and you thought, man, this could be the one I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. When you pick up the phone, your heart goes a little bit faster. You have to drop the person off after the first or second date, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see him again. But the reality is those butterflies and those feelings, sometimes, as time goes on, it kind of comes and goes. So the question is, what really builds a strong, on-fire, passionate love marriage, which is, I know, what you guys are going to have. And 2 things, love and commitment. And God really taught us about what real love is. Love is not necessarily based on feeling, but it's based on what can I do for the best interest of the other person to bring out the best in them. So when we were talking about all this, building a really strong foundation, which I know you guys are going to have, we talked about a verse in the Bible that's really cool, that Jesus taught us how to just love each other. And this is his words. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous. Love does not brag. It does not act arrogant. It does not act unbecomingly. It does not take into account of its own. It is not provoked. It does not take into account a wrong suffered. Love does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails. And the reason those verses are so powerful is that when the Lord was here on the earth, which I know that you guys have the Lord in your life, that probably the most meaningful and touching moment in his life when he was here with his 12 disciples is when the night before he was going to lay down his life for us, he walked into the room and began to wash the disciples' feet. And that right there is an amazing picture of marriage.